Story time on when me and my cousin found out that her new husband was an unaliver. Yeah. So I want to give a trigger warning to this story. If you are sensitive to topics that talk about DV and things of that nature, please keep scrolling. I don't know what all I can say on here, but I surely do not want to trigger or offend anyone that's watching. So let's get into the story. We're going to call my cousin Jada, and we're going to call her husband Ryan. Okay? This is a true story, and I'm going to be very mindful of how I word things. Me and Jada were never really close. She was 10 years older than me. She lived states away. So it's like we knew each other in passing. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, about 2019, Jada ended up moving nearby where I'm at. So we ended up linking up, connecting, and all the things. I would go over to her house almost every day, and we got super close, y'all. Like, we got close. We were going out, having drinks, doing girl days, and before you knew it, I was spending nights at Jada's house because Ryan worked overnight, and Jada was scared there in that big old house all by herself. So yeah, from the outside looking in, and even from my perspective, Ryan seemed like the perfect guy. Like, he was kind of quiet. He was very laid back, handsome guy. Yeah, and around me, he treated Jada like a queen. And he was very respectful to me. But yeah. Anyway, soon I became Jada's listening ear. I was the shoulder that Jada cried on. And that's when I started finding out that things were not so great behind those double closed doors. Okay? So she started telling me about things that Ryan had done. And this was prior to them moving and all of that. And I was like, girl, did you not she jumped into this really fast. And, she felt like she fell in love, and it is what it is. Anyway, I was like, girl, did you do any background check? Did you talk to his family? And she was like, yeah. She was like, his mom said that he had some anger issues from childhood that stemmed from childhood, whatever. She made it seem like it wasn't the biggest deal. Like I said, Jada made it seem like it wasn't a big deal, and he just had some anger issues from childhood that stemmed from childhood. So whatever. Time went on, and the more time that went on, the more Ryan just showed his true colors. I mean, he couldn't hide who he truly was. One night, I was staying the night with Jada, and by this time, I had realized that she just didn't want me there because she didn't want to be alone, or she was scared in that big house. She was scared of him. She shared with me that night some of the things that were going on, and she also shared with me that Ryan said he no longer liked me because he felt like me and her talked about him. Anyway, I was in harm's way right along with her, and had been this entire time, which is why I'm telling y'all this story. This is the night that I got Ryan's full name and looked him up. And when I looked him up, I saw a story from 10 years prior where Ryan had did something to a young man that caused him not to be here with us anymore. I looked Ryan's name up, his first, middle, and last name, and y'all, it popped right up. I mean, as clear as day. He had done something to a man 10 years prior that was pretty horrific, pretty violent, and it caused this young man to, he's no longer here with us. So, as I'm sitting in Ryan's house, chills ran down my spine as I'm sitting here reading, this story. And I'm immediately like, oh my gosh, Jada, have you seen this? Like, do you know about this? Y'all, she wasn't surprised at all because she knew. So, not long after my cousin had met Ryan, he had just gotten out of prison. He did not initially share with her why he was in there. And she said she didn't ask too many questions. But as they got more serious, which didn't take very long, he opened up and he shared with her why he was in there, what happened, and he told her that situation was a freak accident and he did not mean to do it. It was a complete accident. She gave him the benefit of the doubt and she believed him. She took his word for it. But y'all excuse me, I'm sick. But in that moment, everything made sense. I was like, okay, they moved here from states away. Ryan is 37 years old. Like I said, very nice looking guy. No previous wives, no kids. I mean, stuff is starting to make sense. I mean, he was trying to get away from his former life. Anyway, moving along, things started getting bad pretty quickly after that. He did not know that I knew about the situation. He asked her not to share that situation with anyone. Not hard to find out, but anyway. So things started getting bad. I stayed with my cousin almost all the time. She wanted me there as she was growing more fearful. Was I scared too? Yes. But my love definitely outweighed that fear. So I was there. I wasn't going anywhere. And I'm very happy that I was. Did I put myself in harm's way? Yes. But I feel like if I wouldn't have been there, something much more serious could have happened. So, as I was saying, things started to get bad quickly. Ryan no longer cared about hiding and putting on this facade in front of me. Whenever he was not at work, y'all, I would wake up and the fights were so bad. Like, they weren't physical, but they were a hair away from it every time. I would have to jump out of bed and be like, y'all, separate, breathe, whatever. Literally was mediating. So, one day I was at work. Jada calls me, and she had just gotten out of the hospital. Ryan put her there. I was furious. Dropped everything. Rushed straight to her house. I assumed Ryan was in jail, obviously. Soon learned he was not in jail. She was terrified to tell the truth as to what had happened to her because of his threats. After I learned the extent of what happened, I said, oh no, ma'am. Put your shoes on. We are going to the police station and you're pressing charges. No way is he going to be riding around. We have to fear him coming in this door any minute, and he's just out here living his best life after what he did to you. Like, it's not happening. So that encouragement was all she needed. She put her shoes on, went and pressed charges. Ryan was picked up soon after. This is when shit got real. So obviously his mugshot was taken. I don't know if that's what set things off. But again, one day I'm at work. Jada calls me. Girl, when you get off, come straight here. I did just that. When I got there, Jada was shook. She said Ryan's ex-girlfriend's mother tracked her down and came and knocked on her door that day. And the words that came out of that lady's mouth, at this time, Ryan was still in jail. Ryan's ex-girlfriend's mother tracked Jada down and came and knocked on her door. It sounds crazy, but y'all see why real soon. This lady knew that Ryan had been arrested for DV. She took this opportunity to come to Jada. She told Jada who she was. Hey, I'm Kayla's mother. Jada was in shock. She didn't even know that Ryan had a girlfriend when she thought that she was the only one. So this was insane to her. You know what I'm saying? All the way around. She thought that she was the only woman Ryan had dated since he'd been home. Anyway, the lady ended up coming inside and telling her that Kayla had been found unalived. Yeah, Kayla was found unalived, y'all. She was only like 27 years old. It was horrible. I don't know why nobody was ever arrested. From what the lady said, there was just not enough. I don't even know if they could prove that it was but a mother knows. This was a young, healthy girl. And the only thing new to the equation in her life was Ryan. And he was very abusive to her in that short period of time. And why did he not mention this girl to Jada? So anyway, when I got there that day, me and Jada looked Kayla up on social media. Her profile picture was a photo of her and Ryan, y'all. Her profile picture. This shit was mind-blowing. It was freaking mind-blowing. And Jada was starting to literally lose it. I mean, she was losing it. Like, her mental, everything was just, it was getting bad, y'all. And, I mean, I don't know. All I can say is I'm happy I was there during that time. So the lady left her phone number with Jada. She also asked Jada to please tell this man, I think he was a detective, exactly what Ryan had done to her in that DV situation, because apparently Ryan had did something very similar to Kayla. So she wanted Jada to tell her story. At this point, Jada could not give her an answer. Y'all, she was scared, she was terrified, and she was still healing from her own wounds. It wasn't even 3 days later that Ryan was back out of jail. Jada was terrified. Her mental was not good at this time. I mean, whose would be? Anyway, I was like, girl, we need to go stay at my house. Ryan was blowing her phone up. He was not even supposed to be contacting her. He was doing the most. And then one night when me and Jada are at my house, I have a message in my message request box on Facebook. Who was it? It was Ryan. And now I'm scared, really scared on another level. Like, he's after me. You know what I'm saying? And he has no idea that he has no idea that we know about this whole situation. But y'all, it was crazy. So Jada had to end up going to the police again and letting them know, like, hey, he's contacted me, yada, yada. It was just a very bad situation all the way around, y'all. Long story short, Ryan ended up finding out that Jada knew. It made things a lot worse. but he ended up moving back to where they came from. My cousin got a protection order on him, and it took a long time, but he finally left her alone. And as far as that situation, nothing else ever came of it. It's sad, but that's what it is. This story was very hard for me to tell because I had to be so protective and change so much stuff around, but I told it in the best way that I could, and I hope that it was received well. Thank y'all for listening, and y'all be safe out here and always listen to your first mind.
What it do, everyday people, man? It's your boy PJ. Today we back with another lit video. Back in the confessional, and yes, we stay in lit, big dog. Shout out to my everyday people who rock with me every day. Listen, man, domestic violence is never a good situation. I understand that a lot of women go through this, and as I'm going through these stories, every time we question, why didn't you leave? Why didn't you leave? And women always say, it's not that easy. It's not that easy. Sometimes isn't it? Listen, I just want to raise my daughter with the discernment to freaking leave, to speak up, to press charges, not to be put in a situation where somebody is trying to hurt you, tear your things up, keep you away from your family, kidnap you, all that stuff. I don't want my daughter to be so afraid of someone that they won't tell on them. You know? Because think about it like this. Think about it like this. I've known so many women who have had troubled lives growing up. Like they got into a lot of stuff. And they would call the police on their parents. Now, mind you, this is when I grew up in the suburbs of Oklahoma City, growing like in my teenage years. And I would see this, that kids would call the police on their parents. But then as adults, they would get into these toxic relationships that men be beating on them and stuff like this, and they wouldn't even call the police. They wouldn't tell on them. They wouldn't do anything. And I'd be like, all your mama did was tell you couldn't go out. You couldn't go with your friends. You got in an argument and you called the police on them. But this man is kicking your ass, and now all of a sudden you got a heart for him. I never understood that. But women will tell you, you don't know. Look, God, just let me be able to talk my kid into to knowing. Because ain't no way I'm going to be going through this, watching you go back and forth with somebody who's doing you wrong. And, I be talking to somebody else about the choices that they be making with the person that they with and they got kids with. And I just be like, I don't understand why you subject yourself to nothingness, to somebody tearing up your stuff and you paying for it and they not replacing anything. Why would you go back to them? Why would you even look at them the same? Why would you take your kids around there to them? Why would you put yourself around them? If that person keeps acting up, just take your kids away. Just be like, look, if you can't leave me alone, you can't be around my kids if you can't figure it out. Because what you do to me, you'll do to my kids. That's what they should say. That's what they do, and it just make it. It ain't right, but hell, sometimes you gotta do what ain't right to do whatever's right. I say it sucks to keep fathers away from their kids, but man, if the father's harassing the mother, you can't move on. You can't figure out the relationship. You can't co-parent together. So you got to do something.